Welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you're here joining us today and you are participating in this Microsoft and Q partnership program. My name is Naomi Harm, and I'm here to inspire you today with some new personalized learning with how to create an actual personalized coloring book in Microsoft Word to meet your students' social, emotional, and learning needs. To get started today, I also wanted to let you know that this session will be recorded, and this recorded session will allow for you to have an opportunity to go back into that particular recorded session that you've chosen to attend and watch it time and time again so that you can better understand some of the simple tips, tricks, and techniques that you may have missed from the first time around. So as we get started, what I'd like to also share with you is that I do have a link to our PowerPoint presentation that is shared through OneDrive today that I will be providing you so that you have all of the items that are included in this content and best practices of the pedagogical approach of creating these social emotional learning coloring books for your students or family members or other teacher friends. And then I'm also going to give you some extra resources to help you with energizing up the playback of the emotional tone and feel of the coloring book. And those are going to be some photo editing tools that you'll get to tap into. And because of that, I will be demonstrating them as well so that you have all the techniques down, that you are successful, that when we're done with our long workshop session today, that you'll be able to create your own booklet. What I'm also going to do at this time is I'm going to make this screen for you just a tad bit bigger, and we'll do it as a presentation mode so that you can see that playback. Okay. So once again, my name is Naomi Harm, and I will be your online facilitator today. And at any given time, if you have questions throughout, please add them throughout the back channel chat, and we will refer to those frequently to ensure that your questions can get answered. So I want to give you just a little bit of background about who I am. I live in beautiful Cave Creek, Arizona, which is located about 40 miles just north of Phoenix. And the location I am in is such a beautiful location. I can look out my windows today and I'm looking out at the beautiful desert. And it has so much inspiring landscape to photograph. And I use a lot of my digital photos in a lot of my creations of my digital content. And I can take those digital photos and I can put them through a photo editing rendering program and transform them into a beautiful sketch or like a coloring book playback image. So that's why I'm mentioning to you why I have such an amazing opportunity to take photos that I use every day for my personal life and then can use them in my professional life to transform them into the types of projects that we're working with our students and teachers. I'm very passionate about STEM. I've been an educator for over 25 years, and you'll see a lot of my techniques and professional deliveries are focused on STEM. So we're hoping that this particular item today will empower you to create just an amazing personalized digital coloring book, whether it's for friends, whether it is for your classroom of students, or whether it is for a community-wide project as well. Now, I wanted to share some background context when it comes to the art and the act of coloring. Did you know that coloring actually provides research-based proven health and wellness therapeutic benefits for everyone? Yes, it does. And I have 3 purposely planned links for you that brings in the brain-based learning research of why coloring adds a sense of calmness, quietude, peace, and relaxation, and to help with all the stressful triggers that you may have in your life right now, but also when we have students that are dealing with trauma in our classroom. But it's also a great technique as a transitioning technique when kids are working in, you could say, STEM or makerspace rotation stations, that they have more of a relaxed calming activity instead of high energy tech activities all the time too. So these 7 health key wellness benefits I wanted to provide just an overview for. And the biggest experience that we have seen and that the research showcases is that your brain experiences actually immediate relief by entering a meditative state when you begin coloring. You are more focused, you begin to concentrate on a given area. There is that rotation or back and forth technique as you're coloring with the pressurized feel of the pencil, the marker, the color, or a different type of medium that you're using. It also identifies right away the stress and anxiety levels in your body. And when you have more of a concentrated focus, it's all of a sudden you're in more control of where you're at. And it actually can help you with breathing techniques, help you focus on your inner strength by creating. And then at the same time, you'll see that all of a sudden your heart rate feels like it's not so pressured or almost like pumping through your chest. But then it's the potential for everything to be lowered, and all of a sudden you feel like this great relief has been lifted of what's happening. Now, I mentioned also the three research pieces that I've including where I have retrieved this information and the books that I've been reading on all of this. And I wanted to make sure that you have them because it focuses on not only brain based teaching practice, but also everyday stress and trauma that's happened to a lot of people, and why coloring has been known to relieve some of those anxieties for a lot of people. And you'll see that it's coming from the Beaumont Health and Wellness. There's a Cleveland clinic that is world renowned for what they do. And also there's an article that's called Color It, Amazing Benefits for Adults, even beyond children. Now, the other health and wellness benefits that I'd like to share with you is a lot of times due to the situations that we're in, sometimes our brains get consumed with so many negative thoughts. And those negative thoughts, what happens, it really attacks kind of our inner emotional state, and we have a hard time to relax and to move on from that thought process. But once you begin actually with the motion and the momentum of coloring and that pressurized stroke of what you're doing with pens or pencils, markers, or even watercolors, it's almost like you're letting that negativity be expelled from your body. And all of a sudden you can focus and really concentrate on the beautiful piece of artwork that you're creating in front of you from the visualization of the visual art piece that you're doing. What I love about it too is because you're taking all this energy and really concentrating it to one area instead of segmenting your brain into all of these different pieces and parts. So you're really focusing, giving it dedicated attention. And by doing that, that really helps you achieve mindfulness. It's the same state as if that you practice yoga or a mediation state that you're doing, breathing techniques, and also calming and just helping yourself just to try to find that healthy medium when those stresses or triggers come to the forefront of your brain. Now, some other benefits, if you haven't seen already, but unplugging from technology is a must. And due to everything that we're in right now with the pandemic, of all the remote teaching and learning, it's really important that we do unplug and do things that are highly creative, where we can work with our hands and create with our hands and create beautiful products. And actually, that creativity then really showcases through. And that consumes our thought process then, and then really kind of helps diminish or banish those negative thoughts or trauma triggers of something that's going on. But what I love about this is that this is an activity for everybody. It doesn't have to be just for artists or highly gifted people in a certain skill when it comes to these types of medium. It's for all of us. It can really help us with where we're at, but then also help us achieve to create and make something even better than we thought we could have ever before. It also can be taken as a concept as it can be a hobby, but you can take this wherever you go. You can go outside to color. You can go in a quiet place in your home to color. This can be an activity when you're in your classroom. So let's say if you've got makerspace rotation stations set up, you could actually set one up in an area that it's just for a coloring area for kids when they can go to for even 10, 12, or 15 minutes. You can still produce coloring book types of activities that also relate to the thematic unit of the makerspace unit or the STEM unit or your literature unit that you're working on. Everything can still be interrelated as a multidisciplinary approach, but it's an opportunity for kids to unplug and to actually have a wonderful social moment with other classmates at a table. And they can safe socially distance at the same time. But then, even in your home environment, it gives an opportunity to take a break from your phone, your tablet, your computer, and just take a moment to have some quietude moments to relax, to reflect, express gratitude of your day. And once again, I've got those links for the health and wellness there of how coloring has research-based therapeutic benefits that I wanted to share with you today. So as we continue on, you're going to say, well, Naomi, where does this fit? You've mentioned a few things for personal and professional, but give me some more examples. Well, these examples that I'm going to share with you right now is that I've done lots of examples for graduations as gifts that are personalized to give to others. That's what I'm currently making actually right now. My niece is graduating from an Iowa high school, and she's going to be majoring in computer science this fall as she continues on her next educational journey at Iowa State. Yes, and she's one of 8 girls in the program. It's absolutely amazing, and she's just so looking forward to it. But I thought, you know what? Computer science, you're only one of 8 girls in this program, and all the rest of almost 100 plus boys in this program. There's going to be some stressful moments. She's going to have some anxiety. She needs to find a way to calm herself and find some comfort level, because there's going to be some major projects that she has to do. And what can we do to help her find a healthy social emotional learning balance? So I'm making basically an SEL graduation gift for her, and bringing in some of her favorite pictures of digital photos that she's had over through her high school career time. And I'm going to take those and transform them into sketches, and then to add them into a coloring book. Plus, I'm going to have some other, like a mandalia, and those are different types of shapes that can be colored, and they can be colored as it looks like almost like an Escher type of artwork, or it looks like it can be a pattern that can be repeated, but then you can color your own designs. And I'll share that with you in a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, other areas, this would be a great birthday gift. Kids still love to color. It'd be great to take their digital photos and put them through a pencil sketch program and create just amazing sketches for the kids to personalize that overall book. You could also put this into a thematic unit. It might get kids really excited about concepts that might be otherwise somewhat boring to kids, but then at the same time, it could be something that could be actually diving deeper into content that kids can really get a better understanding of what you are showcasing, presenting, and that the types of examples or concepts they're going to be learning. Other areas, it could be a culminating class project. This could be a way that kids could actually take pictures in their remote learning environment and share some moments of learning, and then take those pictures and put them through a pencil sketch program, and then create a class book of everyone's learning moments that were positive that took place during this time. And then you as the teacher can set that book up, set the appropriate margins and page setup, and then it can be printed that you could print if you have permission to do that, or send the PDF back home with parents, grandparents, or guardians, and they can print that out, and it could be an activity to last all summer long. Now, my next example is about, you could also share this with someone that has had a stroke, maybe somebody that has a TBI. And then this is personal to me, where my son is a wounded warrior from the US Army, and he suffered a severe TBI, a traumatic brain injury, from his in-line of duty accident that happened 6 years ago. And because of this, he has great memory loss, long-term and short-term. So for us as parents, we try to take pictures that are captivating of our in and out of our home that encompass our son, Jacob. And Jacob then in return can help relive those memories. And the more that he sees them, the more that he can slightly remember them. And then they become part of his learning process, that he remembers and retrieves that in his frontal lobe, which can transfer back to his back quadrant of his brain to actually capture that and store that as a long-term memory. So we're constantly building memory making moments with him. And this is just another technique that when he sees it, he can color it or he can use a marker and do things with it, that he can capture that attention to help him formalize those thoughts and go from his frontal lobe to his back quadrant of the working memory. Other things, this is great for relaxation and brain breaks, even just to have some downtime. So, you as a teacher, a lot of you are doing a lot of Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or you may be doing Google Hangouts, whichever choice or medium that you're using. But sometimes it becomes so daunting, so tiring. We need a break. So, why not create something for you to take a brain break too, to add more relaxation, more calming techniques into your teaching lives? The other thing I already mentioned, rotation stations. It's great, just not even for kids for elementary, but think of how you could use this for middle school and high school. As an example, I work with teacher friends that a lot of their high school students become quite stressed around the test taking time, as many kids do. So, in between some of those major testing moments, why not offer these brain breaks through a coloring book technique and offering coloring as a calming and a subtle technique? And it actually can add that sense of peace and more quiet moments in your classroom because sometimes it gets really crazy. But positive chaos is good, but there's times that we need more quietude. And because of that, you're meeting the needs of all children in your classroom because sometimes the noise levels are too much for some of our children and they're overstimulated. So, again, this is a great way to bring back calming uh, during a transition, during rotation stations, and as a choice opportunity to learn something at a deeper and greater level. So let's get started. I want to make sure that you understand kind of the direction that we're going and how we can stay organized. And this is a project that you have to really stay organized, and a flexible structure is key. So I'm going to first give you a big picture overview of what we're going to be doing. Then we're going to be doing it by creating and making. So how I usually get started with any type of project, I need to make sure that I collect my digital photos or digital assets that have a common theme. So based on the book that I'm making, if I'm making something that's going to support a thematic unit of study, and let's say I'm going to be studying the Southwest in the United States, I need to make sure that I want to make sure that my students are understanding the big picture of perhaps the different type of ethnic groups that we have in our wonderful state of Arizona. Also, what types of farmland that we have that grows all the beautiful crops to feed our individuals in our area. I want to make sure what it looks like to be in a rural area versus an urban area or within the big city of Phoenix itself. I may want to talk about the different plants and animals and representation of Arizona, of why Arizona is so unique compared to all the other states that we have. So I may want to put a collection together. I can find digital photos, as you may already know, there's lots of copyright free and royalty free sites that I could go to even get just Arizona photos. Or if I've taken my own photos, better yet, right? The real authenticity of it all. So I could use those. Once I've found them that I'd like to use, I always create my common theme folder, whether I save it on my desktop or I have it in my download space that where all of my downloads go to. But whether you're using a mobile device or a laptop, organization is key. And so because of this, what I'd like you to do is you can create a folder with a dedicated name and then add your pictures on board with all the things that you have found and add them to that common folder because it's going to be easier by doing that so we don't have to worry about finding them later. It's also important to label those pictures with a naming structure or a tag so they're easy to find and easy to retrieve as well. Now, some of you may say, well, Naomi, I have some of my own photos, but where could I go to get some copyright-free photos? Well, this is a plan I have for you. You can access or download copyright-free photos from Pixabay. Pixabay is a wonderful site to go to that's got high definition photos of beautiful landscapes, They have student and teacher photos. They also have lots of sketches, and they also have lots of silhouette photos too. Then they have some that look like a cartoon character. So you can use any of those. I'll take you there in a moment. But what I really like to use, I don't know if any of you have so far, but there's also a, a wonderful browser called Microsoft Edge. And why I like Microsoft Edge is because within that browser, I can use Bing as my search engine to find exactly what I'm looking for. So this is what I mean. The screenshot that I have in front of you provides for you the playback that when I launch my browser of Microsoft Edge, I'm using the search engine of Bing to find free photos that I could use in my coloring book. So for an example, let's say I wanted to put together an Arizona a book because we're studying the Southwest, and I was part of a group of my students that I need to collect the different types of plants that are well known in Arizona. So I'm going to look for the desert blooming cacti. So because of that, you can see that when I search within Bing, I have the option that it defaults to all, so I can search the entire web. But what I love about it, I can then go into my structured tabs and I can search just for images or videos or maps. Well, I've highlighted the word images. And when I click on the word images, I also can have the option now off to the right to click on filters. When I click on filters, that allows me to choose a filtered structure based on permissions of the right that I have for my pictures that I could use. So as you can see from the drop down, I can choose all Creative Commons, public domain, free and share, but I really like to use free to modify, share, and use, because that means that individuals that have shared their photos are allowing me as an educator that I can use a free photo, first of all, that I can modify. So that means I can change the playback of that to put it through a sketch program. I can share it with others and share it within a digital project, and I have the right to use it. So I don't have to worry about copyright infringement. So that's the type of model that I like to use. So this screenshot, I wanted to provide for you an overview of kind of the how and the why, and then I'm going to take you into the tools we're going to use. So here's an example. I love pencil sketching, and I call it pencil sketching magic because you can take your beautiful digital photo and put it through a pencil sketch program with 2 clicks and basically transform it into a coloring book image. So if you look at the picture sets below, this is a picture of my son that I mentioned earlier, my Wounded Warrior Army son. You can see that he wears his earbuds. Those particular ones are called Boys Conversational earbuds. They're very expensive, but he does have some hearing impairments too. And the hearing is because he's extremely sensitive to noise, and sensitive because he was in a coma for almost 3 weeks. So in order for him to interact, he was actually hearing us. So he's got very heightened, like really in tune hearing. So it's amazing. These conversational earbuds allow for him to channel out and shut off all the noise behind him, and it focuses on just one object in front of him. So that helps him too with focusing on and to remember and to be part of the conversation. Because too many people, it's too distracting. So capturing this moment while I'm bringing up that story, these moments are essential to him. His one-on-ones with me as a parent or his dad, um, or or like the kitty cat. This is Princess Bella, his cat. Um, this compassionate and kind and emotional tone of a picture just makes me feel so good as a parent, because our kitty cat really spends a lot of time with Jacob as a good friend. And what you see, he's in the kitchen and I'm actually back in our living room part, and I used my digital phone to zoom in and I took this photo. Now, what I captured was a really precious moment because Jacob's smiling at the cat's looking up at him. They're talking to each other without saying a word, but you know what they're feeling. They love each other, right? So I take this picture and then I use the program called Pencil Sketch, and I upload my digital photo into Pencil Sketch, and then I pencil sketch it, and by a click of a button, it transposes that digital image into a sketch that you can see here on the right. So as you can see, it's got a beautiful playback. It's a beautiful color book image now that's just black and white that can easily be expanded onto a page and then colored in. And it didn't lose any of that emotional tone or that presence of that interaction that my son Jake and Princess Bella are having. So we're going to go into those tools in a minute. What I wanted to mention, there's lots of tools that are out there that you can use, and I try to find the best free tools. You may have photo editing tools available right on your mobile device or your laptop. If so, go for it and choose the Sketch program. That will work too. But if you're also looking for other programs that can do something similar, that's where Pixlr and Rivet will come in. You have different choices of those programs. Now, Photor AI Go Art, this is a really cool program. That program is an online web tool, and what it does is that you can upload your digital photo into Photor AI Go Art. Then the playback, besides choosing Sketch, which they have 2 sketch forms on there if you'd like, they also have about 20 other different tool sets that can transpose your digital photo into an authentic work of art that resonates a famous artist of how they paint or sketch. So let's say if I'd want to upload this picture of Jacob with the kitty cat up into Photor, I could then choose like a Georgia O'Keeffe style or a Picasso, or I could choose a different type of famous artist that I'd like to use. Then it takes that and plays it back that it looks like it's an art gallery photo that I can now download and I could use in another program. They do have 2 sketches, but I personally like the pencil sketch because it's more defined and I just like how crisp and clear it is. So I just wanted to give you that choice. Now, before we go on and get right into actually our Word document today, I wanted to let you know that I have these screenshots to help you with your step-by-step process. But within Word, when you launch the application, it's first going to open up into the window display page. And you can see now on the right that I have the highlight of the new that's highlighted. When you click on that, that's going to give you a choice that you can open up into a new Word doc, and then you have lots of different templates. You can also search in the right search field that I put in the word like booklet, and all the different booklet templates come up. I could have searched just by templates as well, and it would have given me all the templates. But did you know that in this program, they also have 3 or 4 new coloring booklets as design templates? So that's something new. I could type in coloring booklet, and then it's going to bring up booklets that are already pre-made for you, and you take out what you don't want, and then you insert with what you want, and the margins and page setup are already done for you. So that's another easy way to get started. Here's another one that why I built this in so you can refer back to when we're done today, that when you do this on your own or with another teacher, friend, or student, page setup is very important that when you first begin these programs, because you want to make sure that you don't have to do the page formatting after you've got all your images or digital assets in, because then you may have to readjust everything. So if you're not using a template and just starting from scratch, it's really important to get those page setups done right away. I, even in a template, will go to the customized page setup because I want to make sure that I don't have a lot of changing and moving in the formatting. So this is very, very simple. In your Word program, you basically just go to File, Page Setup, and then within the page setup, you're going to get this first screenshot. And within here, it's going to give you a placeholder that says Page Attributes. You're going to click on that and choose Microsoft Word. From the Microsoft Word category, you're going to have another field now down here. It says this section. You're now going to choose that with a drop down and then choose whole document, because you want to apply the page setups to the entire document that you make, because when you print it off, that every page will print consistently accordingly to the settings that you have. The last thing that I wanted to share with you that after you've got that whole document selected, there's a margins button. The margins button is important because this is where it allows for you to give an edge all the way around the entire book on both pages. But even most importantly, you have this area here called gutter. Gutter is what that means is the binding of your book, where when it puts in an actual binder, or if you put it, like if you do a 3-hole punch, you always need a little space for that, and you put like brass fasteners in, that can work too. But if you want to also have it done at a Staples or Office Max, you can also get, they're called plastic comb binders, and that's pretty well done actually in school districts too. That's where a 0.3 inch measurement of that US measurement, a 0.3 inch is great. If you're sending it, let's say, into Shutterfly or Snapfish or an online provider, they may ask that your setup that you actually have a larger gutter. It may be 0.5, 0.7, or up to 1 inch. Please note, when you change that size of the gutter where the binding goes, that means you'll have less basically screen real estate of how much content of the text and pictures you can put in. So thinking about that when you're creating your book, are you making it that kids can use it? Is it just a print off so you don't need a binder? Is it that I'm going to make it a coffee table book that can be reviewed for later on? So it's really up to you what you want to do. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of what that term is and what it's for. And then down underneath is the book fold. You'll need to choose book fold because when you're done setting this up, it's going to reorder it so that you can print that back to back like an actual book. And the book fold is very important, and to select all sheets. And then basically you'll say okay. And then that solidifies it basically and makes sure that that book layout is perfectly set so when you need to go print it. Now, I have all of my information here today, and this will be shared back out with you. And please note, this is totally being recorded today, which is wonderful. You can always access the recordings on the Q Microsoft YouTube channel. Some of these recordings also, you can go back to the Q Microsoft main web page that you can see there. So it's q.org/microsoft.org/Microsoft, where you can get to all of our sessions. But then they're also going to showcase the different types of videos that have been tapped into. But I want to make sure that you do get the presentation link, and that's tinyurl.com/MSWord coloring book. And that's going to give you all of my step-by-steps in the brain-based research practice of why coloring is such a well-known and therapeutic wellness and health technique that we all should be practicing and should be affording our students, especially during this time of the pandemic and beyond. You have also my contact information there, that if you want to continue the conversation and talk about other strategies and techniques around SEL, brain-based teaching and learning, and what other areas of how to build in coloring within your classroom for all ages, please feel free to contact me on that too. Not a problem. Okay, we are going to have some fun here. So I'm going to stop sharing at this moment. And what I'm going to do next for you is I would like to bring up our online toolbar through my Microsoft Edge browser. And what I'd like to do with that, I want to make sure that I can share my screen with you again. And we are going to get back into, let's go back to our desktop so that you can see it. And when I get back to my desktop, this is my Zoom page where I'm at. As promised, I wanted to give you and afford you the opportunity of what it looks like for if you are tapping into Pixabay. So Pixabay.com is the online site that I mentioned. And I'm going to just back up this URL just for a moment here. Here we go. Pixabay.com. This is what it will look like at the landing page. And you can search by photos, illustration, vectors, videos, and music. I can also create an online account for myself as an educator. And when I'm using pictures, I can add them into a folder. And access them there, but I can also download them. So in the search field here, I'm going to put in the word graduation. And from there, you will see right away that the first banner here, right underneath the categories, is from Shutterfly. You can always go back to Shutterfly and you can purchase photos as well too. And they've got a huge collection. I'm a teacher and I'm on a limited budget. So I need to find photos that are not going to cost me anything, but could add a meaningful connection to the type of book that I'm making. So if I'm making a graduation book for my niece, Sage, I'm going to look for maybe something that would resonate well with her. So I've got all kinds of different photos here. They're just fun. We've got some girls that are here. Um, let's see, all kinds of different types of learning. Oh, even a learning. Hey, let's choose this one because I might want to use the word learning in part of our booklet. So if I choose the word learning, you can see that it's here and has like a chalkboard based background. It's like, yeah, I like that. And I think I'm going to probably pull out that word learning, and I'll show you to do that in another program. But I'm thinking I'm going to save that one. I'm going to click free download, and then I get a drop down of what size do I want to save it as. The selection that it defaulted to is an absolutely fine selection, and I will leave it as that because I want a high-res photo. I could even get a larger one, but I don't need one that large for this particular project. When I click download, it's going to give me another window pop up, and it's going to say, Naomi, are you a robot? And of course, I'm not a spam bot as part of this. That's again where I could log in, but due to our time today, I'm not going to be doing that. But I can do it from here without even signing in. I'm going to say, I'm not a robot. I check it, and then I download it. And now it's being instantly downloaded into my download folder that I can use. Okay, there's picture one. Maybe I'm looking for a girl student, and maybe she's got a robot. Let's see what I can find. See, probably too much information, right? But it does give me the results in Shutterstock. I still don't want to use that though. So I will push this back and say, how about a girl robot? Oh, yep, I can. I can find a girl robot. Yep, we got some other pictures that could possibly come up too, because I do not have my filter turned on like I'd be in a school district. So I have full access to a lot of different things. I mean, there's even pictures like this, like there's a cartoon. We have some other pictures that are here that I could use. Okay, I may want to use, there's this other one that's here. I could say, yeah, I want to try this one, the character robot. That could be kind of fun to add into my coloring book too. So let me download that as a free download, and I'll go to download there. I'm not a robot, and then I'll download that. Okay. Then for my last one, maybe I want to use something else for graduation. And for graduation, whoops, sorry about that. Let's go back to my Pixabay. Okay. And what I will do then, let's see if there's any others that were in here that I may want to use. There's some silhouettes, which is really kind of nice. I got the learning one already. Maybe I want to give a picture that is about a commencement speech. This could be good too. Yep, there she is. She's got her little mascot helping her there. I'll say, sure, let's try that one. I'm going to download that. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to click download. And that's going to download into my area. Okay, that's where I could find a place for free and copyright images. Doesn't have everything, but does have a lot of high-res photos that I'd like to use. Now, here's an example. Here's another program. This one is called remove.bg. So again, remove.bg. So here's a picture of my niece, Sage, and her mom and dad, and I've already changed that photo that I'm removing the background of their photo. So in order to do this again, I can go upload image, and just for time saving sake, I'll show you the one that, remember we downloaded a picture of the girl that was giving a commencement speech. So if I bring that one back up, instantly what happens, here she is with the full picture to the right. On the left, now it's taken it and it's removed the entire background, which is great. But then I see this looks good and she's got her mascot there yet. But over here on the edge of the podium, I don't know what that is. So let's go in and edit. And this is where I could add a new background and soften it or add different colors or even put her like, I could even put her into the desert background. Look at that. I've got all kinds of backgrounds. This is kind of cool, right? But I could click on erase at the very top. And now I use my eraser, change the size of it. And now I can go in and just change this. So I want you to see I can instantly, ooh, not doing it too straight, but you can see what I'm doing here. And I can make that even smaller so I have a little bit more control. I'm doing this on my trackpad today. So if you have even a pencil stylus that some of you may have, if you've got a Microsoft Surface, which you'd be so fortunate. But here we go. Let's just make it kind of like this. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll say, sure, that looks great. Let me keep that. I'm going to download that. It downloads the image into my download folder that I can use it into another program now. All right. Now, we've found some photos. I've actually changed some backdrops of some photos. I could even do it again. I can go to upload, and my dedicated folder that I have my niece of her pictures in today is called Sage's Photos. I could choose a photo. Here she is, one of her proms. Here's a prom picture of her. Okay. And with that, instantly you can say, here's one of her prom pictures, and it takes everything around it is gone. Now you'll want to think about the effect, because when we put this into a sketch program, do I want it to look like she's still sitting on those steps there? Or do I want to give it a different feel and playback of just Sage being at a different place? So I'm going to click download. I'm going to use that photo. Now for the third one, I have another program, and this is one that I'd like to share with you. This is called pencilsketch.imageonline.co. So again, I'll mention it. It's pencilsketch.imageonline.co. This program allows for me to upload a photo. So upload a photo just like we did in remove.bg. So here's another picture of Sage. I've uploaded her, and now it changes her photo into a sketch by the click of a button, because when I've uploaded it, I could change the playback. Maybe I'll put it up to 10. And when I click pencil sketch, what you'll be able to see, whoops, let me do that again. Change this right here. And now I'll do it again. Oh, it says, please try this again. Connectivity problem. Oh, and perhaps it's on my end right now. Let me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh this browser. There we go. Let's go back in. Let's upload our picture. Let me get Sage again. I've got her in my collection. Here she is. We'll click open. She comes in right away. I will click pencil sketch. And what that will do for me, it changes it into a sketch. And why it didn't load right away and why I had to refresh is because I already had that window pane open. And it's almost like the page had been sitting for so long, that's what it wanted. So I simply refreshed, was my troubleshooting strategy, and just uploaded that photo again. Again, we're doing this all within the browser of Microsoft Edge today. So here's Sage, here's her kitty cat that she has on the farm, and there's her picture. Now that gives us back of a 5. If I choose to move it up to like a 10, it's going to give me more depth and more defined tone. So let's go to pencil sketch. Now when it plays back, you can see it's darker a playback of that. And I like that. Since I like that, all I have to click is download. And when I download, it saves to my download folder. Now I have another picture of Sage and a way of how to take a picture. Same way goes for anything else. If I click upload picture, and if I go to my folder that I had downloaded something, like those characters, if you remember, the little robot character with the girl that we got, I could take that and choose pencil sketch. And now what you're going to see, it turns it into an actual cartoon sketch that can now be a wonderful coloring book element. And she does so much with computer science and coding and programming and robotics that I'd love to give her this picture too that we could include. So let's download that. Okay, now we've got our pictures, we've got our digital assets. They're saved in the location that we need them. Now let's get into Word. So now that I have this, I'm going to open up Word. And now that you can see Word, let me make this larger for you. This is an example. So again, this is where you can open Word, you can choose a template, and then design. The playback I'm showing you is I've already opened up Word and I've added in my own title page. So I've added some text. I've actually added just a placeholder for an image, and then I've got the congratulatory sign. Where I got those digital assets, all I have to do is go up into Insert, into my Insert tab on the ribbon. And when I click Insert, I have my picture icon that I can drop down and insert a picture. And I go to Online Pictures. That's another place I can get pictures. So you've got lots of choice here. This is maybe where I'd want to put in the word graduation hat. Let's try that. And when I put in graduation hat, you're seeing all kinds of graduation hats. You can see that symbol for a filter, and it's showing me Creative Commons only. So I can use images that are copyright friendly for me as an educator. So I can go through and look at the different images that I have here, all kinds, right? It took me a little bit to search for the one that I found because I really wanted something that had some academics and the little, the vine in here. And you'll see others that will come in, and I probably went to the next page after that. But then I also have the word congratulations. So maybe I want to put graduation word. And when I search for that, you're going to see all kinds of pictures associated with a word of graduate or congratulations. And as I continue to scroll down, what you'll be able to see is that you'll get some different words that will come at given times in a playback, which makes it really nice. And there it is. So I could click on it, and once it's selected, I choose Insert, and that can come in as an object right into my Word document. And then I get the toggle handles in which that I can reshape it easily. So please know that the beauty of Word also provides for you areas that you can add your own pictures or search online that are Creative Commons pictures that can come in. Now, I have this set up for time saving sake so that you can see. Now remember, when we print a booklet, this would be our cover page, and then this would be the inside of the cover. So I put a little bit of a little excerpt here of letting Sage know that I said this coloring book was created for Sage Rain Mott to provide a creative outlet to bring inner peace, a sense of calming and quietude during stressful life moments. And I just wanted to give her just a little piece of what we're thinking of our why we made this. Then I have on our next page, I kind of have a personalized little dedication page to her. We're a pretty close-knit family, even though she lives in Northeast Iowa, where I grew up originally, and I'm now in Arizona, but we try to stay connected as much as we can. So I wrote a little personal, little type of a little dedication page to her on behalf of my husband, myself, and my son Jacob that lives with us. So because of that, I gave a little bit of an overview so that she can always refer back to it and our why. And then it goes right into the next picture. So this is the picture that I took originally. I showed you how you could get the background out, but I did this earlier that I could put it right through the pencil sketch program. So as you can see, it is a lovely picture. You can also see, look at the overview of the margins from the top and the bottom, and also the side, because now remember, this is going to be the cover. This will be the inside cover. This will really be starting on the next page when you flip, and then this is going to be the next page that you'll see. And because of that layout, it gives me enough sense for the binding on the side and then enough page on the side as well to flip that next page. Okay, then you'll also see what we have, that the pictures would be together back and forth. And this is the other picture of the kitty that I've added. Now, how again did I do that? If I take this picture of the kitty out, totally out, and if I go back into pictures, and if I go pictures from a file, remember, I have to go back into my main folder where I saved that picture of Sage and the kitty cat. And here it is. And I click to go to insert. When it goes to insert, it automatically knows that it places it according to the margin setup, because now Sage's picture here will be the one on the right side as it comes into play. So the binding, what we have here, is some great space that we have. You'll also see that we have a smaller side on this side for it. Compared to here, we have a larger space because that will be on the left side. So that binding space automatically sets it up for you. I've also inserted numbers. Now, if I would have added a table of contents and I wanted to refer to a number system, I could have done that too. So you have all kinds of choices that I could say to insert numbers. I can go to insert and page number. Now, if there's something that you're looking for and you can't find, remember this quick little tool that's built in. This item up at the very top of where the tabs are, this is called Tell Me. Tell Me is something to help with me with identifying where to find something. And finding something may be like, I want to add word art. I want to add a description to that page. So if I type in the title word art, you're instantly going to see where I can find word art, and I don't have to go back to somewhere on the ribbon. I can go right in here and I can choose word art and it can be placed into my particular booklet. So that's a quick tip. If you can't find something, use that area, which is called Tell Me, and Tell Me will take you right to where you need to go. That's the beauty of this. Now, I mentioned earlier from the previous templates of the coloring books, you're going to have some other placeholders. These are like those medallions that you can color, and these have that symmetrical look and shape and feel of that repeating pattern, almost like an Escher artist is what it is. And I've added these as supplements in between her pictures to give her a different look and feel so she can pick and choose when she wants to color it. So I've added a few of those, and that's set up correctly for me here. And then I have more pictures. So it's a great balance that Sage can pick and choose what she wants. So this area down here where it says state speech debate, this here is adding that word art that I've mentioned. And again, where you find word art on your toolbar, if I'm going back into home, and then if I go into my formatting area off from where my font is, I have my increase font, my decrease font, but underneath that toolbar is where the text effects are. And the text effects opens up word art that I can create some dynamic word art. And why I chose that is because I can still add what that picture represents, but Sage can still color that in if she'd like to make it really specific. So that's what I did. You can also change the styles. You can see that you can add the glow patterns, shadows, outlines, you name it, whatever you'd want. So what I did is I added that simply in. So now you can see her collection again at her state speech debate. What is she doing? She's presenting. She did a great job. Again, she's the only girl doing this with all of these guys. So she is leading the troops here. And I just absolutely love her because she's short, she's sweet, she's spunky, and she's spirited. And I absolutely love it because she does so much more and she doesn't let anything get in her way, and she perseveres. And I think that's why she's going to be just the perfect advocate for women in leadership when it comes to STEM of her computer science major that she's going into. Okay, here's a few more. She got her acceptance letter into Iowa State University. She went down for the day. This was prior to the pandemic. She was accepted in already. And that's their mascot, you know, the mascot of that Cardinal. So we added that picture in of where she's at. I added a few more of the mandalas that will be coming in. Here's that picture of her mom and dad from previous that I may have shared with you. So a good one to add in. Some other pictures, some are just stunning. I mean, this one is just beautiful. This was part of her graduation collection, that she had an outdoor photo op in the fall of the year because, of course, Iowa, they get lots of snow and it's cold. So this was done actually in November already. It's just beautiful. It still gives you that digital look and feel of a photo. It's texturized yet, but then it gives you that emotional tone and sense to that sketch that's different. A few other things that we have, you can see I've added some more other coloring options and some more friends. If I go into view allows for me to also look at multiple pages. Multiple pages as not necessarily the layout yet, because as you'll notice when I do this layout, the first cover page will always be this page, and then it goes into the back side of that page is what we will have, and then this will be side by side with the messages, and then the layout will go from there. To look at Sage, the two pictures will be there, and then I'll have the other coloring techniques as side by side. So I purposely plan that to lay that out, but it gives me a sense of an overview that sometimes less is more. And a really simplified picture here, like the one that we have of the mom and the dad and Sage that's here, it's okay that it's not filling up the whole page. It's falling into the margin guidelines perfectly. It will not get cut off. And sometimes simple is more. So it's not so distracting, because the other color on the other side here on page 11, there's a lot going on there. And that might be one that she really needs to focus and concentrate on and really get her mind into that. Where others, she just misses mom and dad. And you know what? She wants to reminisce about those particular memories she had. So once again, this is my start so far that I have for her. And here's one of the last pages. Like, this was taken in the Chicago Museum of Arts, and she's on an area that this glass corner extends outward. So we took that picture and changed that. This is one that she had for prom this year that they had no prom because of the pandemic. So her mom came in with some of the other girls, and they did take some other pictures by some of their elementary swing sets and things like that, just as some personal touch photos, and we put those through as well. As the last page, what I did, I just put down May 2020, coloring book designed by Aunt Naomi Harm. You can lay that out any which way that you want, but I always give a bit of who's that from and where it is, in case if she picks it up later in life, she goes, gosh, who made that for me? I can't remember. And why I do that, because it always brings about wonderful conversations of memories for later on. So at this time, I just wanted to share with you, I hope that the overview that we provided you today will give you a sense of purpose of what you would like to create and make for your students. Maybe it's for your parents as a gift, even as a wedding gift. It could also be for your own children in your home as a summer activity, because it seems like and sounds like we're going to be home for quite some time. So why not take these amazing photos and turn them into coloring book opportunities to add inner peace, quietude, and calmness to our days. And once you get a sense of you're feeling comfortable, engage your own children at home or your own students to create their own. And this could be a wonderful digital product to showcase new learning for all of your students. So at this time, what I'd like to do for you, I'm going to, let's go back over here so you can get that information once again. I'm going to close out of my Word document. I am going to save what I did there, but I wanted to make sure that what you have, you had all of these items again from our pencil sketch image online that we used to transpose that, and all of the other items. But I wanted to make sure, whoops, pardon me, let me go back over here. I'll stop sharing from right there. But I wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to try to make and apply this new knowledge, and that starting small is the best thing to do. Just start with a few pages. There may be an opportunity that you're going to come up with these amazing ideas for children, especially if English is another language for them. I think this would be a great way to actually put word art on one side, and then you can put the pictures on the other. They could find a great balanced literacy approach to helping these kiddos. But again, make it more personalized. Graduation gifts, birthday gifts, a culminating project for all of your students at the end of the year to still build a stronger community of learners and to let the children that you work with know that they're valued, they're appreciated, and that you're still there for them during this time. So I want to say thank you so very much for attending this webinar today. I appreciate your time and effort and dedication to learn with me during this time, and also hoping that you'll tap into more of our Microsoft Education and Q program to support your learning efforts all summer long. So once again, thank you. And thank you for sharing your amazing ideas today. And as my motto is, together we are better, and we're stronger every time that we learn and share with one another to help us persevere through this time that this challenge has been confronted with us with this pandemic. But I'm so glad that you're learning here today, and I can't wait to see your amazing projects. This webinar is being recorded, so that means you have access to it after the fact. It will be uploaded and shared through the Q Microsoft YouTube channel. But always remember that you can come back also to the Microsoft page, which is dedicated at q.org/Microsoft, because we want to make sure that you have access to all of this free content that many of us are providing to make us stronger and better teachers. Okay, be well, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today.